Hey guys, how's it going? Moxie1701 coming at you with a different kind of video today. There was a friend of mine who asked me why I love video games so much. And I figured I'd make a video to talk a bit about my passion. If I can get my tongue to work today. I'm sorry I haven't made a video in a while. Lots of stuff has been happening in my life recently, lots of emotional upheaval, and I lost two friends which are very dear to me, so it's been rough. But this brings me to one of the reasons why I like video games so much. It's because they don't change. Bonks, which I'm showing you right over here, it's always going to be Bonks. I could plug it in 20 years ago, I played it, it's Bonks. I'm playing it now, it's the same thing, it doesn't change. And because they don't change, it's kind of like a stable anchor in my life. I don't know if I can explain that properly. Okay, let me start way at the beginning. I first got into video games in the late 1970s, 1978, 79. Arcades were just starting out. Space Invaders came out. Asteroids came out. Galaxian. That was the beginning of the arcade era, and I got instantly hooked. But my father was against that. Okay? Now, it's funny the way it started, because he knew that computer was a good educational tool. He realized that, at least. But he didn't want me wasting my time with video games. So he got me a Timex Sinclair ZX81 computer. And he says, I'm going to give this to you on the condition that you don't use it for games. So naturally, the very first thing I did is I learned how to program it, and I wrote my first game, which was a number guessing game. It basically randomly generated a number, and you're supposed to guess what number it is, and it tells you higher or lower, or exactly. And it gives you a special bonus, a little flashing screen thingy when you get the number exactly right. So basically, it's because of my dad that I'm into video games like this. He told me that he didn't want me getting into it, so just to spite him, I got into it anyway. And it's become one of the biggest passions in my life. Now, why I still like them so much after all these years? Well, they're kind of... It's comforting. It's like, you know when you watch the same movie that you like over... If you like a movie, and you watch the same movie over and over and over again, it's comforting. It gives you a comfortable feeling when you do that. I like watching old movies too as well. Like Dark Crystal, Jurassic Park especially. That's a very special one for me. Tron, you know, movies like that. And at the same time, I like playing old games like Bonks here. Because when you're playing an old game like that, it's like nothing has changed in the past 20 or 30 years. It gives a comfortable stability in a very unstable life. You know? Because life, as you know, keeps on throwing you curveballs. It knocks you down, you're bleeding on the floor, and it'll kick you in the face. Sometimes. And that can be hard to deal with sometimes. So for me, plugging in an old game is a way of kind of not really escaping reality, but kind of occupying my mind with something else for a while. Give myself a break. You know, because sometimes when you lose someone special to you, for example, life, it can hurt a lot. And if you sit around doing nothing, you're going to think about what you lost, and the person you lost, or the animal that you lost, and you're just going to get more and more depressed and get crying and all that. Or you can just think about a girl you lost. Think about something or someone that you lost, because that's happened to me a lot in my life. Or even a bad situation in your life, like it's not going good with your girlfriend, or something like that. For me, video games, it's a way of kind of escaping that for a while. Kind of occupying my mind with something else for a while. And that's very important. They've literally saved my life a few times. For me, it's a good escape because some people turn to alcohol. Some people turn to drugs. Some people turn to other nastiness. Me, I have three things I turn to. Old movies I love. Old books, especially old science fiction by Isaac Asimov or Robert Heinlein. And old video games. Old and new, actually. But old ones are different because I love new games. I play. Ask anybody who knows me and look at my website. I love the new games, but the old ones kind of keeps me in touch with the past. Because a lot of people, for them, the past is not important. It's done. It's over. Forget it. Move along and blah blah blah. For me, I think differently. The past, for me, it's part of who I am. The past made me what I am today. And part of that past is these video games. I've been playing them pretty much almost all my life. Ever since they've been created, in fact, for the past 40 years. And when I play an old game like Pac-Man or Bonks, it kind of brings me back to a different time when things weren't necessarily actually better for me back then, but things were simpler. And that's very true. Back in the early 1990s, when this game came out, things weren't as complicated and as crazy as things are now. It kind of gives me a comfort. It reminds me of the past, but in a good way, because the way I deal with the past is there's good and bad things that happened to you in the past, like everybody else. But I learn from the bad things that happen, and I treasure the good things that happen. And playing these old games for me is kind of nostalgic. It kind of makes me think of the good things that happened at that time in my life, like way back in 1990. Okay, financially, everything, I was in a bad spot, but I was at a big turning point in my life. My grandfather was still there. My father was still there. You know, Maxine and Stinker, my cats were still there. It brings me back to a time like that. And I remember all the happy memories from there. So when I'm going through a situation like now, I'm going through kind of a rough time because I recently had a couple of losses which really hit me pretty hard. So playing games like this is my way of occupying my mind. But part of my mind is occupied with the game. And because the game has a calming influence on me, it helps me think about what's happening right now in my life and deal with it better. I don't know if you can understand this. There's a part of my mind that is playing the game, like right now. Well, actually, right now it's playing a demo mode, but I think you understand what I mean. And the other part of my mind, which is now calmer, because it's distracted by the game. I have a hard time putting this into words. How can I say it simply? These games, my gaming, what you want to call it, obsession, whatever, I don't care. My gaming hobby, it calms me down. When I play an old game like this, it's like watching an old movie. It calms me down. And when I'm calmer, I can think things through and deal with with nasty situations better. And if there's nothing nasty happening in my life, I just enjoy it. I enjoy it. It's just fun. Now you're probably going to ask yourself, how can playing the same game hundreds and hundreds of times be enjoyable? Well, I'm sure some of you people have watched the same movie many, many times. It's a comforting thing. You know what's going to happen. You know the way it is. But you want to do it. You want to experience it over and over again. And this is even better than the movie because you don't have to complete these games the same way all the time. You can take different paths if they're available. You could try running through without collecting any bonuses. You could try collecting every single bonus. There's all kinds of things you can do. It's a good way of... It relaxes me, basically. It relaxes me. It calms me down. And sometimes I really need that in my life. And I have... I don't know. You can maybe call it an obsession, but I don't think it's an obsession because I don't only think about video games. I have a strong passion for games. I like collecting them, I like displaying them, and I like playing them. I'm the kind of collector that I buy a game system, I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to get it to work if it's not already working. In fact, if it's not working, I probably won't buy it, unless it's extremely rare. And then I'm going to play it, like I'm doing right now with my TurboGrafx 16 here. I know there's emulation and everything else. I know we have all that. And emulation is great. I use it a lot. Mostly for arcade games because I don't have the place to keep the real system, the real cabinets. But whenever I can, I play the original games on the original systems like this. You notice this is stretched because it's played on the wide screen that was designed for a small screen originally. There's something very comforting about them for me. It's just the way that is. And I enjoy it a lot. And with all the systems that have come out over the past 20, 30 years, there's a wide choice of games to pick up. There's always something new, something old that's also new to pick up. I don't know if you can say. Okay, I could pick up some games in new old stock, but that's not what I mean. I pride myself on knowing a lot about games and having a big collection, but every now and then I'll go to a flea market or a garage sale and I'll find a game. Hey, I never saw this before. Whoa. And then I can't wait to get home and plug it in and have some fun with it. So that's basically why I love games so much. For me, they're like a comfortable pillow, you know? Like an old leather jacket, like old leather. You know when you put on an older jacket that you've had for many years, it feels so comfortable, it's form-fitting, you feel all warm and cozy. For me, video games are like that. I'm playing Bonks, it takes me back to a simpler time. I feel warm, I feel comfortable. The problems I'm facing right now seem a bit less intense, which helps me deal with them at the same time. And in case you're wondering, yes, why not play games? Occasionally I have a one or two good stiff drinks too, because they have a calming effect on me as well. But I don't want to start depending on alcohol for my problems. So drinks are kind of something I do because I enjoy, not because I need to. Games, do I need to play games? Sometimes, yes I do. Sometimes I'm so full of emotion, something bad's just happened, I've lost someone special to me, like what happened recently. I lost someone very special to me. And dealing with those emotions is difficult for me, because I'm very emotive. When I feel an emotion, I feel it extremely intensely. So when I feel sadness, I feel it intensely, like you wouldn't believe. When I play a good game like this, it takes the edge off, it calms me down. It lets me deal with things more rationally when I'm very emotional. It calms down the emotional part and makes me use the logical part easier. You know, I don't know if I'm clear enough about that, but I think you get the image. And that's why I love them so much. Nostalgic reasons, comfort reasons. It's something I've always loved, and I think I always will. It's one of the biggest passions of my life right now. So I don't know if this was clear enough, because I'm not very good at expressing myself sometimes. But this is basically why I love my video games so much. So take care, and I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.